Morning, everybody. Early morning here in Texas. Just dropped my kids off at football. So today I want to talk about the 5 expectations of manhood. I was sharing about this with a friend. It's something I preached in our church, and he suggested I make a little video about it, so that's what I'm doing right now. But so I want to talk about the 5 expectations of manhood. Well, how do you know there's an expectation? Because when you achieve that expectation, it's awesome. There's glory associated with that. When you don't achieve these expectations, that there's shame associated with them. That's how we know that they're real expectations. They're expectations we have of ourselves. They're expectations that people have of us as men. The first expectation of manhood is love. Nobody wants to go to a funeral and hear, man, my dad was awesome and he did many great things, but he never really loved us. That's a bad story. That's a bad narrative, and nobody wants to hear that. The second expectation of manhood is to provide, to be fruitful, to accomplish what we set our minds to. This is huge, and this goes all the way from feeding our families to being fruitful in our character, to be fruitful in our church, to be fruitful in our spirituality as we reach out to our neighbors and help people to understand God better. We are people who are productive, and when we're not productive, there's shame associated with that. Nobody wants to go to a funeral and hear, man, my dad really loved us, but we were always hungry and we never really had what we needed. And he was such a great guy, and we love him very much, but he was so unproductive. He never really impacted anybody for God. That's not a good story, and that's not a good narrative, and that's not what we want to hear people share about us at our funerals, and it's not what we want for any of our friends either. So the first expectation is love. The second expectation is to provide and to be productive, including spiritually. The third expectation is to bring order. We teach the biblical way that things should be done. We bring order where there's chaos. There's a special skill, a special talent that men have. Nobody wants to hear, my dad loved us, we always had what we needed, but man, he fought like crazy with mom. And me and my brothers are always fighting, and dad was all thumbs. Nobody wants to hear that. There's no honor associated with that. But when men come, and the Bible says that everything should be done decently and in order, it's so important. In the same way, with providing, the Bible says anyone who does not take care of his household and his family is denied the faith and is worse than an unbeliever. So these are very, very important things. The fourth one is forcefulness. I know that in our society today that's probably pretty taboo, but forcefulness is something that's expected from men. Even Jesus braided a whip and got all the moneylenders out of the temple. There's shame associated for a man if he sits in his car and watches a woman get beat up, or watches a kid get mistreated. We are called to be good shepherds. The hired hand doesn't care about the flock. The good shepherd lays down his life for the flock. We get involved. We don't relish violence. We don't look forward to violence or forcefulness, but we're capable of it, and it's shameful when we allow cowardice to get in our way when the time is right. The final expectation of manhood is athletics. Again, nobody wants to be a a funeral, and here my dad did great. He was awesome, and he was incredible in so many areas, but man, he just didn't take care of himself. That's my personal biggest failing is athletics and sports. Sports are very important because, especially for young boys, just drop my kids off at football, they learn to love their team. They learn to follow the rules. They learn to provide points and help get points. They learn to use forcefulness appropriately and in a godly way to achieve the aims of the team. Sports are an incredible way to tie everything together. And I didn't grow up in sports, and I was raised by a single mom. She's awesome. She did her best, but I was just not in sports. And when everybody else is talking about sports, I don't really have very much experience with sports, and that hurts me. And so I have an opportunity now to involve myself to help my kids to go after my own physicality and my own health through athletics and sports, and I'm really enjoying it, and it's a lot of fun. But it's an expectation of manhood. So I think these are 5 things that, man, if we can take hold of these things, improve in these things, if we can love our families, love our wives, love our kids, if we can do what we have to do to provide for them and make sure that they have everything that they need, if we can be good leaders and provide peace and order wherever we go, if we can be that force for safety and security for our families, so that they can have that peace, and if we can be the dads and the coaches who help train our kids through sports in all these things, so much good is going to happen. Most poverty in the world comes, sadly, because guys are not doing their job, and we're not providing the peace, and we're not working together with other men to provide these things. And the consequences are very, very, very sad and very, very serious for many communities and many places all over the world. And so let's be responsible. Let's make sure to go after these things. And I love you guys very much.